NVIDIA's mid-tier is getting delayed, the Cybertruck fully recalled and Siri shaken up, and they're making anti-AMD power supplies now? Let's get into hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Friday, March 21st, 2025. Just as a reminder, in 1 week, we're going to be drawing the winner for the RTX 5080 PC giveaway that we have over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/UFD Tech. But we're not going to be giving away a 5060 or 5060 Ti system anytime soon, because reports are now that the 5060 and Ti version of it are going to be delayed. They were originally supposed to be announced with a release in mid-March and April for each of the versions, but now it's going to be shifted by about a month, with mid-April for the 5060 Ti and mid-May for the 5060. Not much has appeared to change with the specs. There was a rumor that the 5060 might get 12 gigabytes of VRAM. I haven't really seen substantial evidence that that's actually true, but in case you are looking for a more affordable option for the GPU, you're gonna have to wait a little bit because it doesn't look like they're coming out. So it's a little bit of a disappointment, but you know what's not a disappointment? Today's video sponsor, Falcon Northwest, because not only are they a fantastic pre-built company that you can buy your PC from to reflect your innards and your outwards with all of the different components you want to put in there, as well as all of the different visuals you want to have, they're also giving back to the community with them partnering with us and Intel to provide a giveaway of their Falcon Northwest Talon Assassin's Creed Shadow livery, with Assassin's Creed Shadow launching today. It's got an Intel Core i7-14700K, RTX 4080 Super. We're going to be drawing the winner for this on March 25th, so you only have a few days left to get your entries in, and we'll be announcing the winner in Friday's episode of Hot News next week on the 28th. So in case you want to win a banging PC from a banging pre-built company, you should definitely enter in at the link in the video description. But it's in their Talon. It's a PC that I love and use at home with Reece's face on it. It's their mid-tower chassis. You can stick essentially every hardware you want in there, whether that's Threadripper workstation, RTX 5090, or you can stick a 5090 in their little boy, the mini Tiki that they have. That's very slim because the 2-slot 5090s now fit in it, or you go somewhere in between with their frag box, which has the handle, meant to be a little bit more portable. But it's all covered by Falcon Northwest's great customer service, as well as their 3-year warranties, 1 year of overnight shipping in case you need to send it back and forth for any unknown reason that likely won't happen. Falcon Northwest has essentially everything that you need to make a PC your own, whether that's AMD and Intel on the CPU side, AMD or NVIDIA on the GPU side. Falcon Northwest is going to be the company to take care of you for that. And they're taking care of the community with the PC giveaway, so you can check that out at the link in the description. Check out one of their PCs at the link in the video description. I gotta tell you, one of the only things that gets me as excited as Falcon Northwest is gaming handhelds. Love them to death. Been wanting a more powerful version of the Steam Deck for some time, and now apparently Lenovo's ready to list their versions of the upcoming Lenovo Legion Go S, which is going to have SteamOS on it. So we can see the pre-order prices on Best Buy right now. It looks like the release date is May 25th, with the Legion Go S with the Z1 Extreme and SteamOS costing $750, whereas the Z2 Go, which is slightly slower than the Z1 Extreme, costing $550. Now the Z2 Go only has 16 gigs of RAM, whereas the Z1 Extreme has 32 gigs of RAM, which could make a pretty big difference, like we saw between the Ally and the Ally X. That extra 8 gigs made a huge difference in the performance on the Ally X. Now you do see the Windows versions of each of these costing significantly more, with $830 being the cost of the Z1 Extreme at 32 gigs, but the Z2 Go and Windows also has 32 gigs, so it is more expensive than the Legion Go S with the Z2 Go for Steam. It's a weird little setup, but I'm not going to buy the Windows version. I'm switching to SteamOS whenever it comes to handhelds. And Discord is switching to making money. There's rumblings that Discord's looking to go public, have an IPO, and so they're prepping their company to make more money to look better on the stock market, which includes video ads coming to mobile in June. This is going to be a way for them to make cash and allegedly for you to get rewards by them showcasing trailers, announcements, and premium content to Discord users. Allegedly, it shouldn't be that intrusive, but they didn't have ads before March of last year. Now it looks like 2025 they're ramping it up. As you can see in this mobile app, there's the ad down below at the bottom, which they're calling a quest, which you can then like enter into, and then it plays the video, and then you can claim rewards from that. So this is likely a way for Discord to start making some money in order to look better to investors and maybe become less useful to the consumers. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But speaking of not being useful to the consumers, Siri is an absolute train wreck right now when it comes to what it's capable of. Just go ahead. If you have an iPhone or any sort of Apple device, Ask it what month it is.
Hey Siri, what month is it? Sorry, I don't understand.
I don't understand. That is the exact answer because Siri is completely incompetent, regardless of how many ads they want to show you of Bella Ramsey being able to use Apple Intelligence. It's not there. So they're shaking it up internally with the creator of the Vision Pro being switched to being the head of Siri. Now, this might seem like a weird move, but regardless of what people want to think of the Vision Pro, it's a brand new technology that Apple actually shipped and does what it promised. It's just overpriced, right? But it does work. It does work the way that Apple promised that it would. So they're moving that on with the head of Siri now being kind of downgraded to being only over some AI technology, no longer having Siri on the portfolio. You might be wondering, why would a hardware market lead have access over the software market lead? And part of that is because Tim Cook has lost confidence in the head of Siri currently, but because the Vision Pro team was so frustrated with Siri's lack of capabilities, they were investigating building an alternative method for controlling the device using voice commands. So they were looking to just subterfuge Siri altogether and make it so that it was irrelevant for the Vision Pro. So they likely had a vision of what they wanted it to look like, hence the changes and shakeups that are going to be happening for Apple on that side. And let's see what Reece is going to shake up and change with your wallet, with the deals he's going to save you money with.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. And hey, it's Friday. I'm going to send you guys off into the weekend with some deals, starting off with the HyperX Quadcast 2. This USB microphone can be picked up for only $109.99, making it $40 off. But then next up, we have the AMD Ryzen 5 9600X, which can be found at a similar price at other retailers, but this one at Newegg comes bundled with the 500 gig SSD and Monster Hunter Wilds for only $228.99, making it $50.01 off. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hard news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, if you bought a Cybertruck, turns out, hold your shock, it's a bad deal because they have to recall every single one of them because they didn't glue down the metal very good. And so it's flying off at high speeds. Every single Cybertruck getting recalled, they're gonna have to be re-glued. This is kind of similar to the acceleration pedals that slipped and they had to rivet down afterwards. But now they have confirmed that they are slowing the sales of the Cybertruck because they've announced how many are being recalled. It's only 46,000, which if you deduct from the previous recall that accounted for every Cybertruck, that means they've only sold about 7,000 or 8,000 in Q1, which is significantly lower than they were selling in previous quarters. And this is on top of the fact that they've had promotional APR rates, the fact that they've had a $7,500 federal tax credit for the Cybertruck. It is just not selling. It is selling worse than it ever has. It looks like it's demand limited rather than production limited. And so Elon Musk had an all hands public meeting for Tesla yesterday at 9 p.m. Eastern. This man on Twitter decided to live stream a public a meeting for the Tesla employees, saying a lot of the stuff that he's been saying for years, that autonomous driving is coming soon. All of their cars are autonomous. They're going to be building robots. They're going to do great. You should buy their cars. And even announcing that he'll have a master plan part 4 coming sometime soon. This used to be a big deal in Tesla world, with master plan part 1 essentially being build a sports car, then use that money to build an affordable car, then use that money to build an even more affordable car. So that's Roadster, Model S, Model 3. They accomplished that. They did a pretty good job on the master plan part 1, but then when it came to part 2, even though Elon Musk last night said it's been accomplished, let me just read to you the last two. Develop a self-driving capability that's 10 times safer than manual via massive fleet learning, and enable your car to make money for you when you aren't using it. They don't do either of those, and he said it's finished. So cool. I don't have any commentary on that. And I have a lot of commentary for this next article, but I'm going to save it. Instead of selling RTX 5080s and 5090s at retail, selling it to you and me on their website, selling it to people out there who actually want one, they're selling them via food trucks at their event at GTC. In case you wanted an RTX 5080 or 5090, this appears to be the best chance that you could possibly have to get them, because they have a food truck that is selling them for certain hours. They're selling them at MSRP if you do not include the cost of the pass to get into GTC, which is $1,100 for 1 day or $2,300 for all 5 days. So effectively, NVIDIA's kind of scalping their own stuff, but they're also doing it in a weird way where it's like a flash sale where they announce, hey, you can go get these GPUs right now. But they do have a significant significant quantity, 1,050 80s, 1,050 90s, all from a food truck. That's how they're doing it to their diehards, not to you, not to me, not to the consumer, just to the people who are willing to fork out over $1,000 to be in Jensen's presence in the same aura of the building that man graces. And it turns out with MSI not releasing AMD GPUs this generation, they're not even gracing their power supplies with the ability to support the latest AMD GPU. So give credit to Overclock 3D for pointing this out, but they've been testing some of the latest MSI power supplies and they noted that there's a curiosity with them. They do not have enough 8-pin power connectors to run any sort of high-end GPU. Any 9070 XT likely will not be able to use an 1,000 or 1,250 watt power supply from MSI. So we're not talking low-end stuff, we're talking about more premium grade power supplies, because each of these only has one 8-pin power connector being included. So it looks like they're phasing it out in favor of multiple 16-pin power connectors for NVIDIA stuff, or the Sapphire 9070 XT Nitro Plus. That's the only 16-pin power connector that we know of on the latest generation. So it looks like in case you want to be buying an AMD GPU, you're gonna have to be more diligent when it comes to your power supply purchases, and you can't just presume it's gonna have enough 8 pins moving forward, because you have a company like MSI who has decided they're not going to support AMD's GPUs on their development side, and now it looks like they're going to have even less support for them on other aspects. So Overclock 3D speculates that this is likely, and I tend to agree with them, not an anti-AMD move that is intentional, but rather they're just trying to support the latest technology with their biggest partner, which happens to be NVIDIA. And you know, it just passively means AMD is not supported. It just means that the worst graphics card doesn't get supported. Intel's GPUs, if they release a higher end one that needs 2 8-pins, doesn't work. And you might be thinking, well, you could probably adapt that, right? You could take the 16 pins and reduce them to 8 pins. I've already gone on this adventure because I tried to put my Intel Arc B580 into my Falcon Northwest Talon, which only had the 16 pin because it had a 4090, and I then put a 5080 into it. So I found one adapter on the entire US internet for me to be able to buy that went 16 pin out to 2 8-pins. So that was possible, but when you click on view product details now, even though I only purchased this roughly 2 months ago, it doesn't exist anymore. It goes to a completely different 16-pin adapter, not the 16-pin in to 2 8-pin out. So it's a very niche thing, doesn't really exist. If you buy one of these power supplies that only has one 8-pin and only has 16 pins rather than that, you're instead going to have to either adapt SATA or Molex if they have them. None of this is great. None of this is a great option. So just as Overclock 3D says at the end of their article, verify your power supplies, power connections, because they might be against the graphics card that you happen to purchase. And I don't know if you guys are against me or for me in the comments sometimes, so let's go ahead and take a look at what you said in yesterday's episode of Hot News with a lot of comments, a lot, reiterating everything I said in the video. So Kevin saying, NVIDIA dropping the MSRP doesn't matter. The IB partners and resellers are marking them up to whatever they think people will pay. I discussed that at length. Just, there were so many comments like this of like, that doesn't matter. It's not that much. I know, I use that to like discuss other aspects of the pricing regimen and what's going on. Anyways, but then we got today's sponsor, Falcon Northwest, commenting on yesterday's episode of Hot News saying, Reece moves to South Africa, remotes into Hot News. Brett visits Reece in South Africa, Reece remotes into Hot News. More Reece. All right, I'm gonna give you some inside baseball as to why Reece isn't here during the filming. You guys ready for me to give this little expose?
Oh no! Oh yeah.
Reece doesn't have a card. So in order for us to have him here, I'd have to go pick him up. But because he has his own station that he's working at, even though I am like a 5-minute drive from him, it is just easier for him to do it at home. And then we go see him afterwards. So hopefully that'll change in the future. But right now, yes, even though I'm geographically close to Reece, we are still the same distance apart in video. And then DZ saying, I'm loving the Switch sponsorship, to which I responded because it's the truth. This is not a sponsorship. We're not sponsored by Switch. It's purely just for the love of the game. We bought so many cans. And I think I mentioned this in a previous episode. This is just like a nod to any South African that's watching some of our shorts where I don't have the ability to kind of discuss the the details going on behind the scenes, they can know I'm physically in South Africa. These are drinks and beverages that are originated here. And so me showing them off, I had a friend contacted me being like, oh, so you're back, because he saw the Switch cans. So that's the real reason we're doing it, not because they're paying us or because I bought all of these at retail at a Spar and various different like bodegas in Cape Town. And then Z-Shrink saying, Kyler in the background just being a sim. Can't wait to hear his Simlish.
Banana Nanucci.
Banana Nanucci to you too. See ya in the future.
Wow, 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 wow.